This is Module 1, Lesson 17, titled From Rates to Ratios. The goal of this lesson, I can find ratios that are associated with a rate. Again, make sure that you pause the video at any time you need to. Watch the parts more than once if you need to. Watch the video again more than once if you need to. And make sure that you take good notes. Let's look at example number 1. It says, given a rate, you can calculate the unit rate and associated ratios. Recognize that all ratios are associated with a given rate are equivalent because they have the same value. So if we look at example number 1, it says write each ratio as a rate. First one there, the ratio of miles to the number of hours is 434 to 7. If I want to write that as a rate, first of all, I'm going to take that 434 to 7. That is a ratio where the first number represents miles and the second number represents hours. In order to find a rate, or more specifically a unit rate, how much for one, I'm going to do equivalent ratios tool, where I set them equal to miles per hour. And I'm going to figure out how much for 1 hour. How many miles in 1 hour? In order to go from 7 to 1, we have to divide by 7. So therefore, we have to divide the 434 by 7. And when you use a calculator, you get 62. Now, the 62 to 1 is an example of a ratio. We want to know them as a rate, so we have to write them in rate form. One way that we could do it is we could say 62 miles per hour. Where 62, I'm going to circle that. 62 is the unit rate. That's the new number that tells us how many miles per 1 hour. And I'm going to put a box around the rate unit, miles per hour, what we're measuring in. All this together is a rate. Now, when we're talking miles per hour, there are other ways to write it as well. You could also go 62 miles and use the actual word per hour. 62 would be the unit rate. Miles per hour would be the rate unit. Or sometimes, if you look in cars, they abbreviate it MPH. Miles per hour. That's what that stands for. 62 would be the unit rate. Miles per hour would be the rate unit. Let's go on to the next one. It says the ratio of the number of laps to the number of minutes is 5 to 4. Let's take that ratio, 5 to 4, laps to minute. Run 5 laps in 4 minutes. I want to know the rate, or the unit rate. So I'm going to need to know the laps for 1 minute. So we have to divide this by 4, which means we have to divide this by 4. Now, if you use a calculator, it'll give you a decimal. It'll say 1.25. But I want you to think in this particular instance as a fraction. 5 divided by 4 is simply 5/4. 5/4 as a fraction means 5 divided by 4. So we could say that the rate would be 5/4 laps per minute. And once again, 5/4 is the unit rate. How much for 1? How many laps per 1 minute? Laps per minute is what we're measuring in. That's the rate unit.